Hello there once again and welcome to tutorial number 11, where we're going to create the part of the expression to discover if there's been an overall winner of the 10 races. As you can see, I've color coded my condition and scorekeeper nodes here for the various snakes, and I'll continue doing this with other elements of the expression as it becomes increasingly large, because things start to get complex and it just makes life a lot easier if we do that. Okay then, so let's just give ourselves a little bit more space. Just move those over there. The first thing I need is a compare node, and I'm just going to go into its title bar here and put brackets greater than in there to give us a little bit more help, and also I'm going to change its function to greater than. So that's the first part of that done there. And then I need another 19 of these. Yes, you did hear it right, another 19. So I'm going to copy that one down, do it again and again, grab a hold of those 4, copy, grab a hold of those 8, copy, and copy those over to there. So that gives me my 20 compares. Next thing we're going to do is put some remarks in to tell us what we're actually doing with these. So first one there, I was going to move over here so that I've got a little bit more space. Copy that one across, and that one, and finally that one. And in my comment here, I'm going to put Sid wins. That's my first completed. Second one, Nancy wins. Ollie wins. Oops, two. And finally, Clyde wins. And Dave. Following on from here, I'm going to color code these as well. So make that one blue. Red. Yellow. Pink. And finally, Sid will be green. Get these a little bigger, I'll just move this over. Okay, so we've got our remarks labelled up there. What I'm also going to do is colour code the headings of the compares as well, because it really will help us to ascertain as to where we actually are with things. So this first one here is going to be Nancy, because obviously if Sid wins, we're comparing Sid to Nancy, Bonnie, Clyde and Dave. So I'm going to make this one pink. Oops, that's good. I must be going colourblind. I've done yellow instead. Okay, just get that to pink. That's perfect. And I'm going to make this one yellow. Clyde red. Finally Dave blue. Now, as I've got to do all of these, I'm just going to pause here, and as per usual, I'll see you very shortly when I've done all of the others. And that's that done. So now we can see where we are. So we're comparing Sid to all of the other snakes, Nancy exactly the same, and so on and so forth. So the next stage of it is to start connecting the conditions to each of the compares. So if we start with the SID winning scenario, what we need to do is connect SID to all of the top, or input ones I should say, the top inputs in the compare there into the input ones. Get that done. Oops, missed that one. Get that one done. And this one. And then it's a case of just plugging each of the other snakes into their appropriate inputs here. The first lot of those, oops, not quite. Get that one in there. So that's our first scenario set up to check as to whether SID, or rather SID's final score, is going to be greater than all of the other four. If of course that were the case, then SID would be the winner. Same thing here, we just plug Nancy into all the tops, into all the input ones. And then plug that one into there. Obviously we skip Nancy. And once again I'm going to pause it here while I connect all of the others. And I'm just about complete. Plug my last one. Oh, that's not the right one. Plug that last one into there. Okay, so that's my wiring setup. Following on from here, I need 5 bools. Before I go any further, I need to add another couple of inputs to these, to this one, make it a little bigger, and then I'm going to copy it 4 times. Don't want to do that. So I've got my 5 bools. Once again, these can be color coded too. I'll leave that for now, but I will do it. So what I'm going to do next is connect the outputs from all of SID's compares here into the top one, into the top bool here, so into the inputs of the top bool. Continue with this for Nancy. Bonnie. Get that one in there. Clyde. And you can see that the wiring's already becoming a bit of a rat's nest, but it gets worse, trust me. So that's those 4 there. And finally, Dave at the bottom here. So let's just have a quick recap. From the outputs of our conditions over here, we are taking what's coming out of our scorekeepers here. So we're getting our final scores, we're passing them through the conditions. We're comparing each snake's final scores to all of the other snakes' final scores. If any one of the snakes' final scores is found to be greater than any of the others, then that snake is clearly the winner. So we're passing the results of our compares to the bools. So it's an AND because we haven't changed the function in any way, and of course that's what we don't need to do. We've got the function there as AND. So if all of these inputs are true, then the output will be true, and we can say that yes, if Sid's final score is greater than the remaining snakes, then Sid is clearly the winner. And of course the same applies to all the others. So that's how this setup is going to work. The next thing we need to do is actually test it to make sure that it's working correctly. Now how we do that, I'm going to disconnect all of these. And that means that currently the inputs the input number 3 here on all of those conditions is now 0. So it's logical to say that if we get a constant and we give this constant a value of 1, it's going to be greater than, if I plug it into Sid there, that means that Sid's score is definitely greater than all of the others because they're all 0. His is 1, so he would be the clear winner in this situation. So let's just test this out with a result node and see if we've actually got it right. So if I plug a result node into this here, and we see what's going on when we switch from this, we've got to switch from the bool. Now the easiest way to do that is to cheat. If we simply say, we'll disconnect this one here, copy our constant across, plug it into here, and we're comparing to equal to 10. So what we need to do is put 10 in there. Now at the moment it won't be right because of course we need to have our frames of 120 there. So what we're needing to do now is get yet another constant, disconnect our time for a moment, plug this into here and make that constant 120 or even 121. It won't matter because it's greater than or equal to, so we'll do that. And now we've got a 1 there because we've come to the end of the 10 races. We've checked Sid's score against the remaining snakes, and we've discovered that indeed, because these are all 0, Sid's score is 1, so he's the clear winner. To double check, and you should check all of these just in case you've wired anything in wrong, let's do Nancy. Perfect. Bonnie. Perfect. Clyde. Oh, Clyde's got a problem. Now that must mean that I've wired something in wrong. So let's just click on this condition and see what's going on with Clyde. So I've got Clyde compared to, I've got a problem here. Here's the problem. I've wired that into there. No, actually, this isn't the problem. You can see how easy it is to get confused with this stuff. He's wired into those 3 and he's wired into that one, so that's correct. What's wired into this could be the one here. Now this could be the one. Or could it? Let's have a look. Yeah, you see, this thing is, this is why you've got to do this. You've got to debug the thing afterwards. So Clyde here, I've got him plugged into the top there. I've got him plugged into there. I haven't got him plugged in. Yeah, I've got something wrong here. I've got something else plugged in to Dave here. Clyde should actually be plugged into the top of that one. And now it's correct. So that's what I'd done wrong. I'd got something wrong plugged into the top one on Dave's compare there. So that's sorted that one out. Let's just see if the last condition, or the last set of conditions, is satisfied here. And it's not, so there's clearly a problem with Dave. I've obviously wired something in wrong here. So in Dave, I've got him in all the tops. So what have I got wired into the bottoms? Let's check on that. That should be going to Clyde, and is going to Clyde. I can see, because I can see my orange cable going up there. Bonnie is going to Bonnie. That's correct. That's correct. So that's, oh, I see why. Of course, because I need to put that into there. So it is correct anyway. Yeah, it's absolutely correct. But you can see how easy it is. You know, I've just shown you that because it can be quite confusing sometimes as to what's gone on. I mean, even for me, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. But when you get lots and lots of wiring and lots of different conditions and various other things going on, you know, you do need to use this debugging technique because it can be very, very confusing. Okay. So we've done our tests and we've made sure that everything is okay. The final part of this particular part of the expression is to simply get another bool, give it 5 inputs, change its function to OR, and then plumb in the outputs from all of the ANDs. Like that. And that completes this part of the expression that I'm showing you here. So the deal is obviously that we've just said that we'll find out who the winner is. Once we've ascertained who the winner is, we pass the result to this bool, which is a checksum. Now, it's an OR because it doesn't matter which one of these is the winner. So if any one of these is a positive output, we get a positive output here. And the reason we're doing this is because I said about the scoreboard having banners or indicators for the overall winner and all that kind of stuff in the top of it. This is going to be the thing that's going to trigger the banner for the overall winner. So the indicator for the overall winner will be made to rise up out of the scoreboard by using this particular output as a trigger. That's what that's ultimately going to be used for. We're not anywhere near there yet, but when we are, you'll see how that works. That brings us to the end of this tutorial. In our next tutorial, we're going to be looking at a scenario where all 5 snakes have drawn. So it's going to be the absolute slither, as I call it, the absolute slither scenario. That's what we're going to be producing next. So we'll continue with that very shortly.